What's going on, people? Let's talk about sizing, right? Now, I've said in the past, like, usually somewhere in the videos while I'm doing them or whatever, that, and I'm sure most people don't hear it because it's probably just overlooked, right? But the thing is, I will say it now, again, clearly, I do not at all like doing the sizing portion of my videos, right? Now, there's one side of it where there's like the logistics of it, okay? So, setting up the other camera and all that good stuff, doing all the things, all the cutting, the splicing or whatever, putting it in there. Also add on to that the fact that I can only do it sometimes, right? Because, I need a certain amount of daylight to do those things. Yeah, it's not great, right? But it is, even though it's my least favorite thing to do, it seems to be a lot of people's favorite part to watch, right? And it's not lost on me the value that it adds to the videos, so I suck it up and I deal with it, right? I just say, all right, well, this is gonna suck for a while, and then I just turn on some Cottonmouth Kings and I just do a barrage of on feet clips, right? It's something I've accepted. But the other reason past that I don't like doing it is because, well, everybody's different, right? I think that's a known fact. People's feet, specifically, that's what we're getting at here. Some people's are a little bigger, some are a little smaller, Everyone also likes their shoes to fit a certain way. There's a lot of factors that go into it, right? So when I sit down and I have, like, let's say a pair of Huaraches, and I say, okay, yeah, I like wearing these true to size. It seems to work out for me. But then, I gotta go in there and it almost feels like I'm like justifying why this is okay for me, even though I know, in that case, I know a lot of people don't prefer that, right? A lot of people like to go up half, maybe a whole. I get it, right? It's a slim fit. It's not for everybody. So, I have to put all these little disclaimers in there and whatnot. But then that also plays into like how much time I have, right? So when I'm doing that, I would like to talk a little bit more about like the comfort and stuff, because that is in that same little segment of the video, and not dwell so much on like why this is okay for me but might not be okay for you. And then sometimes I say all this stuff and then you still have the people that roll in and they don't even listen to it, or they do maybe, and they just still hit me with some like awkward word problem, like the kind of like you might find in math, where it's like, oh, well, if you were 20 and you invested $600 for 5 years into this at this interest rate, and like you just took it out at this time, like, and I'm like, what in the world? Like, people come in, they're like, oh, well, I wear this shoe in this size and I wear this one in this size, so I'm thinking about this, but blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm not doing this, right? You're not even doing it, right? I gave you enough, I feel like. Go figure it out somewhere else, please, because this is not for me, right? And then I just ignore it. But the thing is, right, when I am sitting there seriously, like, talking about the sizing and stuff, it's one of those things where, because I know how I like my shoes to feel, how I like my shoes to fit and all that good stuff, right? I go into it knowing what I'm going to say. And sometimes also, because I do a lot of the same types of reviews, it can get also a little, what's the word? It's repetitive, right? We'll go with repetitive. Because, for example, like the Yeezy 350, right? I've talked about those many times. It's very likely, yeah, I can't see anything else topping it, but I'm going to say that the 350 is probably the most reviewed model on this channel, right? It has to be. Like, what else could there possibly be? But either way, so I've said the same thing a million times over, right? Oh yeah, I go true to size. That's not okay for everybody, but it's prime that it stretches out over time, and yeah, the whole thing, right? The last wave of 350 videos that I did, and some of you, if you watched it and listened, you probably noticed this. I recorded the first one, the Carbon Beluga, did the whole thing, right? But I said enough stuff in the sizing portion of that video that I'd be able to like take that clip and just throw it at the end of all the other Yeezy 350 videos I did that day. So I think it was like 5 altogether, 4 or 5, something like that, So if you listen to that, or go back and check it out, right? Like, everything after the Carbon Beluga, those other 350 videos, It's all exactly the same. That's why they end the way they do, instead of like coming back to a shot of me rambling about things and then saying, oh, have a nice blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so a little behind the scenes thing, which, you know, is also a thing that I used to do. But here's the thing, right? Again, just the whole sizing thing, bring this all back. I get that it's important, right? I get that some people like need that information or whatever. So I put it out there. But man, do I not like doing it, because it's also like, and I've been doing this long enough that like the negativity or whatever just kind of doesn't bother me anymore. I just block the person a lot of the times if it's like straight up stupid or whatever. Other times I just ignore it, because again, when you're living out here in the public sector somewhat, you expect to be disliked by some people, expect to rub some people the wrong way, right? So you got that whole thing coming in. People, oh, how could you say this? I don't think that. It's like, dude, like, go somewhere, you know? But the reason I'm doing this is because, for one, you know, I'd like to sit down and talk about some things nowadays in like a little longer form, give my thoughts on some stuff. And I had heard Anthony Levine talking about this on one of his podcasts like a long while ago. I think I actually made a post about that too. You know, so I thought, you know, like, I'm going to bring that back on like my end, because it's a thing that I'm also not a fan of. And I've said it before, I've said it again right now today. But I don't think there's much else left to say. You know, sometimes these things are going to run a little longer, sometimes a little shorter. This one, it's more concise, because it's not like, oh, let me talk about AEW, or let me talk about sneaker channel things or whatever, you know. This one should be like, you should be able to get in and out real quick, hopefully. But either way, that's going to be it for me. I'm going to sum this up one more time real quick, just because I can. I do not like doing the sizing portion of videos, because that information just doesn't fit for everybody, no pun intended. So it kind of sucks, right? And there's a lot of crap that goes into making it happen. But hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, what's it really matter? I do it anyway, so what's the point in like me complaining? There isn't one. I'm just sharing my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So there's that for you. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. One little thing that I forget to mention once in a while, and so I'm going to slip it in right here. A little bit of advice when it comes to the whole sizing thing, right? And a lot of people, they're not going to want to hear this, because it's going to take a little bit of effort on your part, right? There's a whole lot of lazy people out there. You might be one of them, or at least you know some people who are. Anyways, if you see somebody and they put up a little video about whatever thing, and you're like, oh, can I trust this person? Look at the other videos they have. Hopefully they have other videos. See if any of them are about something that you have, and then see how they feel about that thing. Might kind of get you in the ballpark of how they're looking at things or whatever, right? So just something to consider. And also, by the way, what you're seeing right here, yeah, see that? This is work, Tristan. I throw this on instantly professional. It's crazy. It takes 2 seconds. I don't know when I'll actually have some other shoe content coming around, because nothing has been too interesting to me, to be completely honest. I mean, there's a couple things I wouldn't mind having, but I don't really want them, and I'm just gonna see if they hit some bargain bin prices, and then maybe it'll happen. Or maybe a new Air Max model or Ultra Boost model will come around. I don't know, but yeah. Until then, you're gonna get a lot of other stuff. So if you don't like that, well, there's an unsubscribe button. If you are subscribed, you don't have to be, because obviously the content is free. I don't even understand why people push that so much. But you can always just leave. There's that. Speaking of, that's what I'm gonna do. Later, people.